challenges have changed, but the fundamental problem of poverty, fundamental problem of food insecurity, fundamental problem of unemployment in rural areas still remains to the level that it is not completely solved. The problem has changed. The opportunities have become different. The consumption patterns of the people have changed. But then there are still problems to be addressed. And more problems in the context of natural resources. Water and soil has been degraded. And we blame it on Green Revolution agriculture because soil has been spoiled, water has been depleted. Even when we were in Coimbatore district studying, I used to visit Palladam, Tudiyalur, these areas just for interest of talking to the farmers as small assignments professors will give to collect data on farm management and so on, and seminar programs. So we used to, even for that, go collect the preliminary data, not just review of literature. So when I visited Tudiyalur and we went up to Pollachi for understanding farmers' problems. And even in those days, the water levels in the wells were going below 300, 400 feet, even in those days. Of course, later on, they came up with double motors and things like that. So groundwater continues to be a serious natural resource challenge. And on top of it, talk about the soil degradation. On top of it, continuous application of chemical fertilizers without adding any organic matter has brought our soil system into a problematic situation. And then now on top of it, we are facing climate change issues. The weather changes, weather pattern changes, and farmers are facing that as well. In all that, what is that we are supposed to be doing in terms of addressing farmers comes from the farmers themselves. So interacting with the farmers and casually being with them as part of their system is fundamental. In not too long ago, I conducted 27 farmers groups discussions in Tanjavur, Nagapattinam and Tiruvallur districts, where a team of us sat with the farmers in the villages, asking them what is the fundamental problems that they are facing. And it ranged from input availability to, of course, markets, and in between all the problems, what are the solutions that they are expecting. And so that has changed the perspective of how to formulate policies, our perspective about understanding the problems and coming up with a realistic kind of solutions. Because policies is one thing, but translating policies into action on the ground is another thing. The translation process required programming, strategizing, investment, and backing up with capacity of institutions to support on the ground reality. And that is very fundamental for addressing the problems on the ground. So that is one aspect of what we need to really work on that. In that process, I realized the agricultural extension has been a major problem in India. And so Atma has been, as all of you know, some of the extension people know very well, this Agency for Technology Management, Atma, has been introduced. Now it is in all the districts in India. And so I started studying the fundamental role of extension in informing farmers through digital technology, through the agribusiness clinics that they put in place, through Atma, through regular extension programs, and found the lot of challenges that could be addressed by reforming extension system itself. So we started working with Manage, which is the Hyderabad-based Agriculture Ministry of Agriculture organ. We started working with NAR, ICAR institution, and also, of course, working with the National Agriculture Policy Institute in New Delhi. With our own office in New Delhi, IFPRI office, we came up with a book on extension reforms, not just in India, but in South Asia, that you can check on the web. Type my name and extension reforms. There is a book that we recommend what are the reforms to be done in the extension area. But more importantly, translating the problems of the farmers. Dr. Venkatram asked that question last session. Translating the problems of the farmers on the ground into policy and translating policy into solution to the farmers on the ground is something that we need to be constantly engaged in and finding solutions for in the context of agricultural development in India. Let me stop here with this introduction and I'm happy to answer any questions, or I'm also happy to learn from the participants what their problems are. So it is basically a dialogue session. Maybe Mr. Rasu will talk now, and then we can open it up for dialogue. Let me turn it over to the organizer. Thank you.
Sir, Professor Kumar sir, if Mr. Rasu is ready, he can present his integrated approach for that you can proceed.
Sir Kumar sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hello. Sir, Dr. Rasu, sir, please come online, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir, please carry on, sir.
Good evening to all. Now, our classmate Mr. Suresh Babu covered one global subject, food security and food policy at global level. Now, I am taking a small subject at local level. It's only related to pest and disease. Because I am taking the subjects, our farmers are spending more money towards the expenditure on pesticides and fertilizers. Now the concept is we can reduce the cut short the cost of expenditure on inputs and get more profit is the concept now. So I am taking a small subject, integrated pest management. First of all, I must thankful to chairman and secretary and dean of the institution JSA College of Agriculture and Technology. This is a small subject, integrated pest management. Some important terminologies we have to know. What is a pest? What is a survey? What is surveillance? And what is AISA? These are the synonyms related to integrated pest management. Now, we can see what is a pest. The pest is defined as any species or strain, biotype of plant, animal, or pathogenic agent injurious to plants or plant products. Plant pests include not only insects but also weeds, rodents, fungi, bacteria, viruses, nematodes, other organisms that are harmful to the plants, or in the case of weeds, compete with or displace desirable plants. This important terminology, what is survey? A means of surveillance to get a comprehensive view on inspection, examination, and identification. It may be conducted to study distribution and abundance of pest species. What is meant by surveillance? It means a vigilant or a planned watchfulness, or when survey is conducted, repeatedly over the same area. The pest surveillance. What is pest surveillance? It implies close and regular vigilance over the development of population, incidence of pests, as well as bioagents in a crop ecosystem. Why it is necessary? Why pest surveillance is necessary? To know if the pest is present or pest is absent in the plant. To prepare a host list of a pest, or to prepare a pest list of a host. And the another point is to determine endemic areas. Endemic area means a particular pest is occurring year by year. That area is marked as endemic area. Then to arrive at hotspots, to determine spatial distribution of the pest present for logical management decisions. Another important points are for early detection of why pest surveillance is needed is for early detection of exotic pests, for early detection of established organisms becoming pests, to forecast the outbreak or epidemics by relating surveillance data with the climatic events, to develop a baseline list of pests before ongoing monitoring for changes in pest, to demonstrate the plant health status. What are the next? We are going to see what are the components of pest surveillance. The components of pest surveillance are identification of the pest or disease, distribution and prevalence of the pest or disease and its severity, the different levels of pest and disease instance and the loss due to the instance, pest or pathogen population dynamics, assessment of weather, assessment of natural enemies. These are the important components of pest surveillance. However, pest surveillance need to be a proactive rather than reactive. How we do pest surveillance? Types of pest surveillance are fixed plot survey, rapid roving survey, special surveys. Fixed plot survey means to generate quantitative data for developing for warning system over an extended period of time. Typically conducted in fixed field belonging to a research station. Rapid roving survey means to monitor pest incidents over large areas in a short time to determine the need of pest management. Rapid roving survey, the goal is to cover as much as area possible to provide early warning for pest. Special surveys to determine area and spread of outbreaks. For example, survey of sugarcane woolly aphid in Maharashtra. Another example we are putting now to identify endemic areas and hotspots. Example, survey of merit bug in Karnataka state. When we have to take these surveys, fixed plot surveys, fixed plot survey weekly interval. rapid roving survey, it differs from crop to crop. Rice 10 days after interval, cotton 15 days interval, vegetables 7 days interval. Specific guidelines for observation in fixed fields. The recording of observations on insect pests should be initiated in main field from 20 days after transplanting. In each field, how to do fixed plot survey. In each field, select 5 spots randomly as shown, randomly 5 feet inside the borders and 1 in the center. At each spot, select 4 random hills for recording observations. Thus, total of 20 hills per field would be sampled. Observations relating to plant details, insect pests, and beneficial should be recorded against each of the selected 20 hills from the 5 spots. Integrated pest management leads to sustainable agriculture. What is sustainable agriculture? Sustainable agriculture is a system of agriculture is economically sound, economically viable, and socially acceptable in the short as well as long period. It avoids specific set of farming practices, rather represents the goal of developing a food production system or yield potential, affordable, high quality food and other agriculture products. Secondly, does not deplete or damage natural resources such as germ plasm base, soil, water, wildlife, etc. Thirdly, promotes the health of the environment. Now we are talking about the climate change. That is the main object to protect the environment. Suppose the 4th point is supports a broad base and diversity of farms and the health of rural communities. Another component of integrated pest management, main important component is agro-ecosystem analysis. IPM has been evolving over the decades to address the deleterious impacts of synthetic chemicals, pesticides on environment, ultimately affecting the interest of the farmers. In EISA approach, which can be gainfully employed by extension functionaries and farmers to analyze the field situation with regard to pest defenders, soil conditions, and plant health, the influence of climatic factors and their interrelationship for growing healthy crop. Such a critical analysis of the field situation will help in taking appropriate decisions on management practice. The basic components of agro-ecosystem analysis are, first thing, plant health in different stages, built-in compensation abilities of the plants. Thirdly, pest and defender population dynamics. Fourthly, soil conditions. Then climatic factors. Lastly, farmers' past experience. The methodology of agro-ecosystem analysis covers field observation on insect pests and disease are to be initiated after 20 days of transplanting. In each field, select 5 spots randomly and 1 spot in the 4 spots in the randomly, 5 feet inside the border and 1 in the center. At each spot, select 4 hills randomly for recording observations, totally 20 hills per field. What are the data to be recorded? Farmers should record data in a notebook and drawing on a chart. Keep records of what has happened. Actually, what is happening in the field, covering water condition, crop status, what are all the pest defender are present in the field, sunshine, temperature, all the parameters should be recorded. Help us making an analysis and draw conclusions. Plant growth to be observed. Height of hill, number of tiller per hill, number of leaves in a hill. Crop situation. Plant health, observe the crop stage and deficiency symptoms, etc. Pest, disease, weeds. Count insect pests at different places on the plant and identify any visible disease symptoms and severity. Field and their intensity. We can record rats, count number of plants affected by the rats. Natural enemies. What is the condition of soil at that time? Irrigation, weather conditions. We are also concentrating on recording what kind of seed we have used, fertilizer, pesticide, labor. Finally, we can harvest and record the yield per kg, price of produce. Important points to be considered at the time of survey. While walking in the field, manually collect insects in plastic bags. Use a sweep net to collect additional insects. Collect plant pots with disease symptoms. Find a shady place to sit as a group in a small circle for drawing and discussion. If needed, kill the insects with some chloroform and a piece of cotton. Each group will first identify pests and defenders and disease collected. Each group will analyze the field situation in detail and present their observations and analysis in drawing as a chart. Each drawing will show a plant per hill representing field situation, the weather condition, water level, disease symptoms will be shown in the drawing. Pest insects will be drawn on one side. Defenders, beneficial insects like dragonflies, damselflies, beetles will be drawn on another side. Write the number next to each insect. Indicate the plant pot where the pests and defenders were found. try to show the interaction between pests and defenders. Each group will discuss the situation and make a crop management recommendation. The small groups then join each other, and a member of each group will now present their analysis in front of all the participants. The facilitator will facilitate the discussion by asking guiding questions and makes sure that all the participants are actively involved in this process. Formulate a common conclusion. The whole group should support the decision on what field management is recorded in ASA plot, agroecosystem analysis plot. Make sure that the record activities will be carried out. Keep the drawing for comparison purpose in the following weeks. I request our students, most of them coming from farmer families, they have to take 1 acre. If they are having lands, preferably they have to take rice crop. They can adopt this integrated pest management concept. We are supporting to them. If they are calling means, we will come there and we will guide them. This is my request to our students. Now, farmers are growing rice in most of the areas. We are taking as a paddy crop as a model for integrated pest management. What are the important pests affected in rice crop and what is the ETL level? Now we are going to see the one by one. Major pest in rice field is stem borer damage. This is well known to all the farmers. Major symptoms of stem borer is dead dot symptom. Dead dot is a dried up central shoot of a tiller on the rice plant occurring during the vegetative seedling to maximum tillering stage. It has been attacked by any one species of stem borer. Another symptom of stem borer is white ear. In the grown-up rice plants with panicles, the stem borer attack results in white ear. A condition that is the condition wherein whole panicle become dried and discolored. The grains of such panicles are empty or only partially filled. How to observe this pest? Count dead dots, dried dillers at the tillering stage and white ear heads after panicle emergence in each hill. Next to stem borer, we can see leaf folder damage in everywhere in rice field, all the seasons. Damage, when come to symptoms of leaf folder damage, rice plants have tubular folded leaves with or without larvae that are pale yellowish to green. If you see longitudinal and transparent whitish streaks are visible on damaged leaves. Sometimes leaf folder larva fastens the leaf tip to the basal part of leaf. Heavily infested hills appear scorched with many folded leaves. How to observe this leaf folder damage. Count the number of folded leaves per hill. When more than 30% of a leaf is damaged, larvae scrape the green tissues of the leaves and the leaves become white and dry. Thrips damage. Thrips means சாரூரிஞ்சும் பூச்சிகள். The thrips description: yellow or silvery streaks on the leaves of young seedlings and a terminal rolling and drying of leaves from tip to base are noticed with the presence of nymphs and adults of thrips. How to observe these thrips? Once the thrips damage is ascertained, count the number of damaged leaves having the symptoms described above. Caseworm damaged leaves, that is called padaipulukal. Description of caseworm: leaves damaged by caseworm become whitish and papery. Tubular cases formed by cutting the apical portion of leaves float on water around the plants. The leaves are cut at right angles as with a pair of scissors. Larva, if present, is pale and translucent with orange head and has filamentous gills on the sides of the body. How to observe this caseworm? Procedure for observation: count the damaged leaves due to caseworm per hill and record. Hispa damage. Damaged leaves. Scraping the chlorophyll. How to identify this Hispa damage? Scraping the chlorophyll by the adults and long winding tunnels to leaves made by the grubs are seen. Affected leaves show whitish and membranous patches along with the long axis of leaf or blister near leaf tips. Damaged leaves dry up ultimately. Procedure for observation: count the Hispa damaged leaves on each hill and record. How to identify Hispa adults? Small bluish block beetles covered with spines or the Hispa adults. Observation: count the number of adults of Hispa on each hill and record. Next, the important pest, brown plant hopper, BPH. BPH in some areas every year it is endemic in nature. How to identify the brown plant hopper? Two forms of brown plant hopper adults, long winged and short winged, are seen. Nymphs and adults are brown in color with chestnut brown eyes and assembled at the base of the plant above the water level. Procedure for observation: for brown plant hopper, record the total number of hoppers in a plant, both nymphs and adults on all tillers of each hill. How to identify this damage? Initial damage is due to feeding by BPH causes drying of tillers. The tillers turn brown and large. How to observe this brown plant hopper? For tiller damage, count the number of damaged tillers per hill due to brown plant hopper. Affected hill dries up and gives a scorched appearance called hopper burn. Procedure for observation for BPH plant damage, record hill damage if all tillers are completely dried or no, if partial or no damage is seen. Another one is called white-backed plant hopper. Neems are white in color with yellow pronotum and possess a diamond-like marking on the thorax. They congregate at the base of the plant above the water level. How to observe this white-brown plant hopper? Count the number of nymphs and adults of white-brown plant hopper in each hill. We have to identify the difference between the brown plant hopper and white-brown plant hopper. Count them from the base of the plant above the water level. Blue beetles. Adults, the blue beetles are like or elongated, dark bluish, green and shiny with striations on the elytra. Grubs are white with the brown head and with the tubular process at the tip of abdomen. Often, grubs are bound in aggregations. Count the number of immature stages and adults together on each hill and record. Now we come to a conclusion that ETL of we have to take chemical control measures at last after adopting all the starting from field sanitation to all the cultural practices. Lastly, we are going to adopt chemical methods basis of the economic threshold level of pests and diseases. Now we can see the ETL of some of the important pests in paddy. Stem borer, 2 egg masses per square meter or 10% dead odor. Leaf folder, 10% leaf damage at vegetative phase and 5% of flag leaf damage at the flowering stage. Coming to green leaf hopper, 5 number per hill at vegetative stage or 10 hill at flowering or 2 number per hill in Tungro endemic area. Brown plant hopper, 1 hopper per tiller in the absence of predatory spider and hoppers and 2 hoppers per tiller. Thrips rolling of the first and second leaves in 10% of seedlings. Leaf folder or leaf roll at 10%, gall midge, 10% of silver shoots. Whole may get 25% damaged leaves. So, we have to advise the farmers to adopt chemical methods at last.
Sir.
Now, some important points, coming to the important points. What are the objectives of pest management? To reduce pest status below economic threshold level. Complete elimination of the pest is not the objective. It is not possible also.
Sir, excuse you, sir.
To manage insects Sir, please.
Sir, can we
Sir?
have some interaction? Can we have some interaction, sir? Interaction with among the students and
2 minutes.
the participants.
Yes, just 2 minutes. I will complete within 2 minutes.
Okay,
Sir?
right, sir. Well, up to 8:45 we have the time, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. To manage insects by not only killing them, but by preventing feeding, multiplication, and dispersal. To use eco-friendly methods which will maintain quality of environment, that is air, water, wildlife, and plant life. To make maximum use of natural mortality factors, apply control measures only when needed. To use component in sustainable crop production. What is the requirement for successful pest management program? There is some requirement for pest management. Correct identification of insect pests, life history and behavior of the pest, natural enemies and weather factors affecting pest population. Pest surveillance will provide above data. Pest forecasting and predicting pest outbreak. Finding out. Now we come to a conclusion that we have to recommend the farmers to adopt to all the farmers, because our farmers are small and marginal farmers. They are easily it is easy to adopt integrated pest management practices. So we have to guide them properly and reduce the cost of cultivation, get more income per acre yield. With this, I conclude my speech. We can proceed further for interaction, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now the session, sir. Now the session is open for interaction, sir. The participants may
Yes, sir.
ask questions to our Dr. Suresh Babu as well as to our Rasu sir. Now the session is open for interactions. Please, those who are participants are requested. If they have any doubts, they can post the questions either to Dr. Suresh Babu sir or to Sir Rasu sir. Please carry on, sir. Participants, you are invited. All of you are invited for interactions. The session is open for interaction now.
Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, myself Ashok Kumar. Ashok
Yes,
Kumar,
please,
sir,
carry on.
JSA,
Yes,
sir.
please.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I am asking one question.
Sir, question to whom, sir? Interaction with
Interaction with Raju, sir.
question to. Okay,
Rasu,
sir,
sir.
carry on, sir.
Please.
Okay, sir. So, in the year of 1912, the Plant Quarantine Act was enforced. After that, in the year of 1914, the restrictive pest management that was enforced. So after that, the locust warning station that was implemented in the year of 1939. So these are all 1939. These all are, it was activated in the year of before we are caught on a freedom. After that, in the year of 1968, so the Pesticide Act in the year of 1968. So, what is on the role of them?
Not audible, sir.
Sir,
Voice is not clear and also not audible.
okay, sir. Sir, in the year of
Sir,
1912.
Ashok sir.
Sir.
Ashok sir, just a minute. Ashok sir,
Tell me, sir.
please make your question in short.
Okay,
You
sir.
make your question short and be specific on your points because our time is very limited. So we have time up to only 8:45. So please be specific and make it short,
So,
please.
Pesticide Act, what's the role, sir?
Kindly post the question to me. Please.
What's the role in IPM?
Kumar sir,
Yes, sir.
get the questions from them and forward it to me.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. We'll do that one, sir. Okay. Right, sir.
I will answer through.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. We will get the questions and post to you, sir. Sir, now
Yes.
I request Dean,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Dean, sir.
Another one more question, sir.
Sir,
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 please.
Ashok Kumar, sir.
another one more
Please,
question, sir.
please, Ashok Kumar, sir. Ashok Kumar, hello.
Solun, sir.
Not
Hello.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Sir, questions. He is asking the questions in a written statement. We will send the questions and get his answer afterwards, sir. Through chat or through mail, we will send the questions and get his answers. He is asking to post his questions.
Kumar sir,
Now I request Dean, sir.
sir, Dr. Kumar sir,
okay.
Dr. Suresh Babu is
Yes, sir.
waiting.
Dano.
Dr. Suresh Babu is waiting.
Sorry, I was
Now
muted.
sir. Sir, now we can ask Dr. Suresh Babu, sir, to please come online and speak on, sir, please.
Yes, I'm online. We can interact with
okay,
students.
sir.
Any questions people can ask, we can
Okay,
take
sir.
the
Okay.
questions.
Sir.
No problem, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, myself, Dharmaresi. Hello.
Yeah, please ask
Yes,
the question,
please.
Sir, I put forth question to Mr. Suresh Babu, sir. Sir, due to locust attack in the North India, several crops have been devastated. So, how come they will ensure their food security, sir?
Yeah, I think the problem has come down now. It is not a major problem as we thought, but
Yes, sir.
actions are being taken. And of course, once
Yes,
a
sir.
while we'll have to face this attack. And as an emergency, we have enough food in the country. It's just a matter of getting the food to the affected areas. But farmers, of course,
Yes,
have to
sir.
face losses. And in the
Yes,
end,
sir.
I think even for ensuring against the locust attack in the future, there must be
Yes,
insurance schemes for the farmers. Just in the case the locust attack will attack, we'll have to come
Yes,
up
sir.
with insurance schemes in the most probably affected areas. We have to introduce
sir.
insurance schemes. Okay, so we cannot totally
Okay.
stop the attack, but we can prepare for minimizing the damage. Thank you.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Suresh Babu.
Very good. Good presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, Dr. Kumar sir, if no
Yes,
more
sir.
question, if there is no more question, you can proceed for vote of thanks.
Sir, we shall wait for some more time, sir.
Okay.
Some more interactions are expected. If the participants are if they're willing to post interactions, we can ask questions to our Dr. Suresh Babu.
Okay, sir. Sir, I want
Yes,
to speak
carry on, sir.
Dr. Suresh, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, carry
Sir.
on.
Sir, actually, in 1960 itself, Dr. R.Y. Rao he was detailedly giving an desert locust warning. So nowadays that locust was outbreaking. So there is a relationship between them, sir.
I don't know. I'm not an expert on the locust per se. Maybe
Okay,
the
sir.
entomologists in the college can answer that question. Maybe Dr. Rasu, Ms. Rasu can answer that question. Maybe I'm not aware of that.
Oh,
Lo-
okay, sir.
Locust infestation. Danu, please.
Sir, actually 1960 itself, R.O. Rao, he was giving a detailed study about that on a desert locust. So nowadays the desert locust was an outbreak. So there is a relationship between them, sir.
I don't know. Like I said, it cannot be directly related. Locust has been a problem for centuries, right? So future, even now, we can predict there will be future outbreaks of locust. That's not a problem. The issue is, how are we going to control? How are we going to prepare and forewarn the locust? If the locust has come in Pakistan, we should be ready already, right? If the locust has come in Iran and Saudi Arabia, we should expect in the future that they are going to come here, because the locust problem is not new to India, nor new this time. It started in East African countries, right? So now
Yes,
we
sir.
know the pattern of migration of locusts, and the scientists should predict the pattern of migration and be prepared to manage the situation. That's Mr. Rasu was talking about IPF. So we need to come up with either physical control or aerial spray or other mechanisms where we can actually collect the pests covering the plant through a net, area, through large nets, so that it doesn't affect. Once we know it is coming in Pakistan, and once we know the pattern of migration, we can actually use a large nets to connect. Particularly small farmers need a net to 1 acre net, basically a 2 acre net for the important crop that they are growing. So it has to be thought about. Some innovations have to be thought about. I'm just giving some ideas. So I think more important is the early warning of the pattern of migration of locusts and preparing our farmers with insurance mechanisms as well as protective mechanisms. Okay, let's move to the next question.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I have a question, sir. Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, I need to ask you, Suresh, sir.
Yes, please carry on.
Sir, Sir told before the green revolution, our soil and waters are degraded. So, after green revolution, we know that pesticides and usage of chemicals are the reason. Before that, what are the reasons, sir? Can I know that, sir?
Dr. Kumar sir,
Well,
Sir.
first you ask
Yes,
him
sir.
to introduce him.
Pardon, sir.
Right, sir. First you ask him to introduce, then ask the
Okay,
question.
right. Kindly participants, please note, please before asking questions, you please introduce yourself. Then only we will know who is online and what position he is. And then please
Yes.
be specific in your question and be clear what you are asking. Please take care of your voice also, so that it should be audible to the person at the other end. Thank you very much.
Sure. So this is Togilan from APSC, sir. I'm a student third year, sir, studying third year.
You are Togilan from
From APSC, sir, college.
APAC College. Okay. Aaj Prasakti Agriculture College, Kalavai.
Yes, sir, Kalwai, sir.
Please.
And
Okay,
I'm
sir.
third year.
Doctor sir, there is a student from Agriculture College, Kalavai. Togilan, please ask your question.
Yes, please.
Sir, you told that before green revolution itself, our soil and water are degraded, sir. So I'm asking to Suresh, sir, Dr. Suresh Babu, sir.
Okay.
Yes, carry on. He is listening. Carry on.
Okay. We know that after the green revolution, our pesticides and other usage of chemicals are degraded the soil and water, sir. Before that, what are the reasons, sir? Because before that we are less urbanized, sir. So what would be the reason behind that, sir?
Well, even before the whole system of agriculture, we need to understand how it was before Green Revolution, after Green Revolution. What are the challenges in terms of productivity? It all relates to productivity challenges, yield challenges. So what is before Green Revolution? The plants the varieties that we were planting did not require that much of chemicals to produce some yield, but the yield was very low. And that yield was not enough to meet the population demand during the 90s, 60s, and 60s, 50s, and 60s, right? Before Green Revolution. In addition to that, these varieties that we had were tall varieties of rice and wheat, and they were lodging with the irrigation. More water comes during the floods, they will lodge and we will lose the crop. So they were also weak in their structure. What Green Revolution did, it brought two types of productivity increase. One is productivity increase through the grains by having more grains per panicle. And that is mainly through increasing the nutrient content of the soil so that the plant can take the nutrient and grow more and produce more panicles and more grains. The second activity came from not losing the crop when the crop was to be lodged by flooding. Now, both work to bring the Green Revolution as a miracle. But the Green Revolution crop varieties required additional nutrients. You need to add chemical nutrients to the soil so that they can grow. Otherwise, the benefit was not going to be there. So that is the reason why we started using chemicals. And when you have lush green plant, naturally pest attack will be increased. So we have to worry about the pest. So when we controlling the pest, we used chemicals as well. So the soil degradation before Green Revolution was because of not enough nutrients at all. No nutrients at all. Because they were only applying organic matter, whatever they could apply. After Green Revolution, the nutrients were mostly chemical nutrients, not organic nutrients. Right? Organic, from organic. So that depleted the soil. That is the reason why after Green Revolution, we don't have proper soil structure. The humus content of the soil went down. And because we didn't add any natural chemical, natural organic fertilizers, we were depleting the soil. But the solution is not either one or the other. We have to combine both the organic nature of the soil structure and adding fertilizers will improve the yield sustainably. That is the question we are talking about. Okay, I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Other participants? Any other participants want to interact? If there is no interaction, we may conclude the program.
Very good, sir. Thank you very much.
Hello?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
just a minute, sir.
Conclude the program. Yeah, okay.
Thank you,
Sir,
Suresh.
just a minute, sir, with the permission of the dean.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Sir?
sir. You proceed. You proceed.
Sir, with
Sir,
your permission, now I request. Hello, sir?
Yes, proceed, sir. Proceed.
There is no participation from, there is no interaction from the participants, sir, it seems.
You heard. Sir, vote of thanks.
Now, okay, sir. Shall I will ask my colleague Rao to propose the vote of thanks, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Proceed.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening.
Rao, please
Sir,
carry
good
on.
evening, sir. Good evening, Rao, sir. I'm Rao from JSA CAT. First of all, I would like to thank our Honorable Chairman, Dr. Jayaraman, sir, and Honorable Secretary, Dr. JSA Arun, sir. And I would like to thank our Director, Natarajan, sir. And I would like to thank our Principal, former Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Annamalai University, now our Principal, and the organizer of this webinar, Dr. Kumar, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir, because for this giving this opportunity for me, sir. On my own behalf of very heartily vote of thanks to this guest speaker, Dr. Suresh Chandra Babu. Suresh Chandra Babu, sir, scientist and head of capacity strengthening and International Food Policy Research Institute, USA, sir. Thank you, sir, for raising your important work and sharing with us your findings and our opinions today, sir. And also Mr. A. Rasu, sir, former DDA and founder chairman GAHCS Chennai. And finally,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Finally, I thank the ladies and gentlemen who have attended this webinar. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks of this moment. Thank you, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of me also, I convey my heartfelt thanks for having this opportunity to our Dean as well as to our Chairman and Secretary, and for Dr. Suresh having interaction with the US. Then also, I would like to extend my thanks to through Rasu, sir, former DDA. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you one and all. For the participants also, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks for participating in this webinar. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks,
sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Rasu. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank you,
much.
one and all. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Dr.
Okay.
Suresh Babu, thank you very much. You have spent almost 3 hours time continuously
Yes.
during your.
Very nicely. Dano went on very nice.
Also, I thank Mr. Rasu for sharing his experience on integrated pest management. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanu. Thank you, Rasu. Good wishes.
Thank you,
Keep
Suresh.
in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. We will meet again. Thank you. Okay, Dano. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Rasu.
All right.
Sir, thank you, sir. Principal, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I will call you afterwards, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.